Like I've thought about it, but it's like not until I can book something that's worth it.
Right, I know.
Oh,
Hey, Danny.
Hey, how are ya?
Good.
Good.
Danny Lloyd, and Jane will be joining us momentarily. We were just chit-chatting about technology. Technology is always, it's so beautiful and then like super frustrating all wrapped in one,
Don't I know it?
right?
Yeah.
It's funny because as soon as you joined in, I thought my immediate first thought was, I think we've recorded with somebody who has, but I feel like your booth is the first like prefab like big
Oh
booth
yeah.
that we somebody in here in.
It's like a professional
Oh,
booth.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I've had this, gosh, when did I get it? I got it at the end of 2014, and it has moved with me to like 6 different houses.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like held up over time. And I love that you have a big window.
Oh, yeah. We lived in a place for a while where we lived on a busy road, and we didn't know it was going to be as busy as it was.
Yeah, that
And
happens.
yeah. And so when we got there, I like had to cover this. I had to cover this and like soundproof it and all the rest. And it was the worst. I felt like I was in a coffin for a year and a half.
Oh, yikes. Yeah, that's not
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Especially when you're stuck in your booth all day.
Hmm.
Jane, this is Danny. Danny, this is Jane. And Jane is our special guest co-host. She's
Oh,
joining us
yeah.
once again. Yeah, we usually have a little bit of a round table. We like to just, make it a party. So I was thinking about it. It's perfect that Jane is here with Lloyd and I. Lloyd and I are season regulars. And Jane introduced me to your program, Voiceover View. So we can talk about that a little bit. And she's like, you should really try this out. And I'm like, no, 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 I don't, I don't know. I can't do anything new right now. Like there's so many things that I'm doing, like, you just, there's always new stuff. So, and then she's like, no, really, it's really been helpful. So we'll have to dig
Yeah.
into that a little bit. But I have to share my chaos with you because it's prom 2024. So I have a child that's old enough to go to prom, actually graduating, going to college next year. So that happened. And so last night at 10:30, they had told me they'd made time changes for meetup. And prior to that, they weren't going to allow the parents to meet up to take pictures. That was off the table. So my another mom friend and I, we had to advocate for pictures. Yeah, it's just a group of boys. They just were doing their thing. And I was like, oh, no, 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 no. We are doing pictures. And it was funny because at 10:30 last night, he was like, oh, we're not meeting up at 2, we're meeting up at 4. I'm like, were you going to consult with me? Because I have some things going on right now. And it's just interesting to be a mom who's a planner and having a child who is not a planner. It's just
Child
what
and is synonymous with non-planner, FYI, especially a
Yeah.
high school boy.
I know.
what do they know?
I know. I
You have a
just
life? Wait, no. You
right. Like you need to let all parties involved like know what your plans are. I get it. We got to flow. I like to flow too, but at the same time, I let's make some plans and then if we're gonna make changes, let's like, let everybody know about it. But I was just beside myself at about 11 o'clock last night, kind of just having
Oh,
one of those mom freak out moments that I think I was fully allowed to have because I was just like,
yeah. Is prom tonight then? Is it?
yes, it's tonight. Yeah. And
Did you
that's
have a
a
date?
no, it was just a small group of like friends,
Okay.
there's a lot of groups of friends going that just they don't do there's some that go on dates,
Yeah.
but yeah, no.
Right.
And they're not doing the whole dinner or limo thing. They're going to like Chipotle. Like,
awesome.
Hey,
All
good for
dressed up.
them.
I love it. That's
I know. So anyways, so
exciting.
do you guys have any chaos to share?
Well,
Kid
first, I just want to know, so how did it end up? Are you going to get to go take pictures?
We already took pictures.
Okay.
Thank you for asking. Yes, I it's like 96 degrees here. So I had to take him in an air conditioned car. We met up with all of his friends and one mom and I that we bonded together over picture taking and advocated for ourselves. We took pictures. It literally took like 5 minutes. Like and then I had to say, like, hey, did you guys have water? Like, make sure you take your coats off. It's like 96 degrees. Get in some air conditioning right away. Do you think they listened to me? Probably not. You know. So
Yeah.
yes, I got some beautiful pictures. And he took a picture with me, so I'm even happier.
I love that. I love
Yes.
that. Nah,
So chaos. Anyone else have any like booth chaos, life chaos?
I just would think that after as many years on the planet that I've been here, I should know how long things take and I should know what time it is. The only time that I am on time anywhere is for sessions. Otherwise, I am late all the time. I was even a little bit late to this. It's like I never know what time it is or how to get where I'm going. So that is just an ongoing chaos no matter
Yeah,
what.
that's
It's
like
Yeah.
valid. And
it's
time
crazy.
zones too. Like add
Oh
in
yeah.
time zones. Like that. Sorry, Lloyd, go ahead.
It's crazy you say that because I had the same exact thought earlier this week. I have severe
I
ADHD.
like the way your eyes looked at that.
And I had a session this week that was with I mean, Jane and Josh, you guys kind of know the thing that I booked a while back that
Yeah.
is kind of a more regular thing. I went there and I got there 10 minutes early and I'm pulling into where I'm like, how am I here before the time?
Oh no.
No,
Oh
no, no, no,
shoot.
no, 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 no. How I'm like, like before the time it
Oh,
starts. I'm
like
so used to being late
oh,
to
gotcha,
things.
gotcha. That's
But
hilarious.
if it's something like that, it's like okay, I'm on time. But the
That's
funny thing
awesome.
is, it the session itself went over, but somehow weeks ago when because what I do is I'm just like I have a doctor's appointment. No, I don't. I just put it on my sick time for work, and I go and do it. And for
Chaos.
whatever reason, I scheduled an extra hour just in case, and I'm happy I did
Nice.
because it went over.
Yeah.
You know,
Planning. See, it works.
and then I was still late because I decided to call my dad, and he went on a whole rant while I was in the parking lot
Oh,
at my church.
parents.
But
Those parents. Those
but
parents.
we'll deal.
It's funny. Um, so Jane, unless you have any chaos, which is fine if you don't, it's yeah, I know. You're like, where do I even start?
Well,
Um,
the most current chaos is that I have a friend that is from LA, Burbank, and she's kind of a nomad creator. She
yeah.
does background on camera work. She's
Oh,
a
that's cool.
private flight attendant. She's a on-call hostess at a hotel in Beverly Hills, and now she's trying to get on-call bartending work here in Vegas. And
Oh,
so
fun.
um she's kind of stays here for a
Oh,
few days at a time. And she came in like Wednesday night at like 2 o'clock in the morning.
oh my gosh.
And so we haven't really had a chance to like catch up. So this morning I woke up and we had breakfast in the kitchen. My husband cooked, and so we were just chatting. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, I started getting your emails, Josh. And I was like, oh
Yes.
yeah, I got this.
Oh,
Like, I gotta shower.
J-
So literally right when I signed on, I'm like, I blow dried my hair. But that's,
yeah,
a little bit of chaos, but we
yeah.
have more serious chaos going on, but that's
Yeah, it
why I'm
happens.
a little late.
I was gonna say Jane is like the best host when you come into town. Like she's always make sure like you're taken care of. So just FYI. But so you are like the best host. Danny, so let's talk a little bit about because Jane was talking about her friend being on camera and a little bit of a nomad, but I know that did you start off in on camera? I feel like, or did you start off in voice acting, or you're both both
Uh-huh.
an on camera and a voice actor. So I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
And you created a very usable, friendly tool for voice actors. So
Yeah.
let's like kind of start about, I want to hear about your origin story. Where did you start in the creative realm?
Where did I start in the creative realm? I've been an artist of sorts for always,
Okay.
in some form or other.
I love that.
In like junior high, I did acting, junior high acting class. Actually, I think that might have been where I had like my first real kiss was in a play. Um, does that count? Um,
Yes, it counts.
it counts. Okay. He was cute.
That's also counts.
Yeah, so I started out doing acting in junior high, and then in high school I didn't do any acting, but I really went hardcore after after the physical arts. So I did stained glass and batik, and
Oh
um,
wow.
Oh, wow.
I did pottery. We had a fabulous art studio in our high school, and so I that was my art outlet. So my art outlet in junior high was acting. My in high school it became the
Mhm.
physical arts, the crafts, and then in college I didn't really do anything. I mean, I just kind of did college, and not
Yeah.
really the fun way. College was not super fun for me. Fast forward, I did a little bit of voice acting in my early 20s. So I think, yeah, in my early 20s, I did some voice acting, and I'll tell you the year. It was like 1985 or 86, and that's when I was in my 20s. So do the math. I'm now
You
in
look
my
fabulous.
thank you. I'm now in my 60s. So
Wow.
If it makes you
I
feel
wouldn't have
better, I
guessed.
was like in my brain, I thought it was 40 something.
oh, thank
So
you.
Yeah.
That was
I'm bad with ages, but seriously.
Thank you. Thank you. And if you saw me in person, you'd be like, "Oh yeah, no, she's 60." Um, so, but yeah, so in my early 20s, so in like 1985, 86, I had a boyfriend who was in marketing, and he was doing some radio commercials for I don't know, some online learning thing, like when online learning was brand new. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even know, like, maybe could you even really do online learning? However it wasn't in-person schools. It was something else, though. It was, like, called Egghead. Oh, I know what it was. It was floppy disks
Mm.
Oh,
that you
yeah.
put into your computer, and then there was a course on the floppy disk,
Oh
and
my
that was called,
God.
like, Egghead software. And so I did some radio spots for them, and I had to go into studio here in Seattle because back then, of course, first of all, I wasn't a voice actor.
Right.
But went into studio here in downtown Seattle, and it was at one of the big radio stations. And the producer did this, he produced the spots, and he was like, "Wow, you're good." I was like, "Oh, cool, thanks." And then I just went off and did other stuff. So
Right.
I spent 3 years teaching English in China.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
yeah, so I did that in from 1988 until 1991,
Wow.
and I did some on camera work there. So
Okay.
I was a I almost never tell this story unless I'm out for drinks with friends.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
Oh.
special.
I was in an 8-part miniseries, um,
Oh.
in China, and it was called The Black Rhinoceros. It was like the oh god, something of the black rhinoceros.
It
I
never
can't
translates. It always translates weird.
It does translate weird, yeah. So, it was actually pretty bad. Some of my students saw it, and well, yeah, so some of my students saw it, and they came back and they were like, "Oh god, that was really terrible."
Oh,
But,
no.
I got to play the young and beautiful Shimona, who
Oh,
was a
fun.
spy, and, the cool thing about that was that I actually got to go into parts of so this is in 1989 when China was still quite closed to
Yeah.
foreigners, and so I got to go into some parts of China that were closed to foreigners. They got, like, special permits to allow me to
Oh,
go to
wow.
those places to film. It was pretty extraordinary.
That's
So you were
cool.
Um
there to teach English, and so
Uh-huh.
kind of like, oh, there's this role that I can
Yeah.
get casted. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, and actually I didn't even audition for it. So the way it went is that the director of the production, he came onto campus where I was teaching, and he knew that they had American teachers there, and
Mm.
and so or American or non-Chinese teachers. So there were other nationalities as well, but so he came to look to see if he could find somebody that would act in his thing, and he saw me riding by on my bicycle. And the story goes that he went, "That's my Shimona."
Mm.
You
And
were
then
discovered.
I was discovered. Yeah, and so then they came and they talked to me and they asked me if I wanted to do it, and I was like, "Yeah, heck yeah."
Yeah,
So
that's
I
so cool.
spent a summer doing that. Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. That's like a pretty big thing, pretty bold thing to do too, to like go, over into another country and like, be teaching English. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
that's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
It was fun. Yeah.
So then you were in on camera after that or just kind of took a
Oh,
break or
no,
no?
I came
No.
back from China and I like did it had nothing to do with the arts, had nothing to do with anything.
Wow.
You know, I had a baby, I lived my life, I went into advertising.
Hmm.
So my degree is in communications with a minor in with a what do I want to say, a focus in broadcast and then a minor in English education. And I just went into marketing. I was like, well, I got to get a real job now. So I went into marketing. I did that for about 15 years. And then in 19, in 2009, I got laid off from a really great job. I mean, I hate marketing. Let me just say that right up front. I hate
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I'm learning to love it now, actually, for the first time ever. But I don't like it. I never cared about the stuff I was doing.
Yeah.
And so I got laid
Oh,
off in 2009 and yeah,
oh,
go ahead.
I just look. I felt that in my heart.
Yeah,
I
marketing.
work in marketing, so
Yeah, yeah. Like I was doing financial services and I was like, I don't care about this shit. I
Mm-hmm.
don't care about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I was doing that. In 2009, I got laid off from that because of the financial crisis.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, and for about 10 minutes, I thought about doing voiceover again.
Okay.
And my husband was like, "You should really do voiceover. You should really do it." And I was like, "I don't know, I don't know." So I thought about it for about 10 minutes, talked to one of the voiceover schools and, had an interview and they were like, "Oh yeah, we think you could do this."
Yeah,
And
I love the air quotes.
yeah, and I was like, yeah, I don't get a good feeling about this. And
Yeah.
that what year? 2009. So my son was graduating from high school in 2010. And it was like, I
Hmm.
can't start something new. I can't do something new right now. College is coming.
Hmm.
Much. So I went back to work. I went back to work in finance for another couple of years. And then a couple of years after, then I quit that job and did finance, or not finance, but tech marketing for a couple of years. And then
Wow.
got laid off again. And that's when I was like, okay, and I'm going to just say it. I was like, okay, fuck it. I am going to do
Yeah.
this over. Like, I'm
Yeah.
so done with this. I hate this. This is not what I love. I hate it. And right now is the time. So that was 2013. I got laid off. And the cool thing is that I had just registered for in-person class. So we were living in Reno, Nevada at the time, and I had just registered for an in-person class, an in-person weekend workshop in Sausalito at Voice Tracks in Sausalito, if you're
Oh, okay.
familiar with them. And I had registered with them just like a couple of weeks before. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go take a weekend voiceover class and just see what I think about it. I got laid off like right before, literally the weekend before that class.
Oh, wow.
Down to Sausalito. I took the class. The guy, Al Bedrosian, he was the guy who was teaching the course. And he said, wow, you have a really marketable sound. And I was
That's
like,
cool.
really? What does that even mean? Like, I mean, I was in marketing, but I don't know what a marketable sound is. And he was like, no, your voice, it cuts through. It's interesting. It's not usual,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, okay. And so so in that workshop, he gave a lot of great advice, and this I do tell a lot. He gave a lot of great advice, and when I started, this was at the end of November, the last weekend of November in 2013, and on January 2nd of 2014, I decided that I was going to start auditioning on voices.com. So I put up a profile on voices.com, and I did some auditions, and in one of them, I took the advice that Al gave, which was, look at the specs, look at the direction, give them what they want,
Mm-hmm.
and give them what you think they need.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, and
I
I
like
say
that a
that all
lot.
the time, and I try to do it more now, but I'm not good at doing that still. But I did then because I didn't know anything else.
Mhm.
Like, I just didn't know anything else. So I was like, I gave them what they wanted, which was some like big booming like trailer thing, which didn't fit the script
Right.
or anything. And then I gave them what they needed, which was kind of low key and sexy, and it was just kind of this. And they bought that. Thank God they bought the audition.
Yeah.
I didn't have to do anything. They didn't want a
Oh,
session. I didn't have to
Oh,
edit it. I
nice.
didn't have to give them more takes. It was $150. It was a 5-star review
nice.
first day that I auditioned.
Wow. That's
That
like double
And
winning right there, really.
yeah,
Like that's like a
yeah.
double whammy.
Yeah, yeah. So then, as a 5-star talent on voices.com, you know, that's kind of the story. That's kind of the origin of how voiceover started.
I feel it in my heart, like Lloyd felt the marketing in his heart about the whole, like, I don't know if I can do this right now. I have a kid and college is coming. Because
Mm,
all too often, being a mom and you have kids, it's like sometimes you're secondary and they have to be first. And it's hard to keep yourself even with them. And then sometimes it's financially not even possible to follow your dreams while there's, responsibilities, and that balancing act, is difficult. And I almost feel like the universe was like on your side. I mean, like the loss of your job right before that weekend class, to me, I had chills because I'm thinking like that is right. That's like the universe.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was like,
Yeah, like
yeah,
hello, you're on the right path. Go ahead, Lloyd.
I just want to note the trend of, oh, I lost my job, and then I really focused on voiceover in this podcast.
You're like, when's my turn?
This is well, yeah. Well, first off, we've had multiple guests with us. Like, I lost my job, and then I just went all into voiceover. But also, I've been saying for a while now, I wish I could just lose my job and go on unemployment
Yeah.
and just straight audition all day.
I think we're in the
well,
same boat. We're in the same boat, Lloyd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that
One
six
day I'm
months
gonna
of
get let
unemployment,
go.
right? That
Mhm.
Yeah.
6 months of unemployment gives you that ramp. Like, you guys already have careers. You
Hmm.
already are doing voiceover. I
Yes.
wasn't even doing voiceover.
Yeah.
It was like,
Right.
I'm gonna do voiceover, which a lot of people do, and most people don't make it, right?
Hmm. It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, and it's a lot of work, and there's a lot of learning, and there's a lot of, if you don't love being behind the mic and you're just in it for the money, like you hope to God you're gonna make some money, then
Yeah.
that's not gonna do it either.
Right,
Right.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting that you were kinda yeah. I also identify with the fact that your husband's like, "Well, just do voiceover." And you're
Mhm.
like, "Okay, well, how do I just do voiceover?" I came from radio, so I understood, like, the basics, in terms of, I used to do voiceover that I didn't even realize was voiceover when I would be voicing commercials at the radio station, not getting paid for them. But I, like, didn't know how to properly do voiceover, but it's interesting that your husband said that too, and you're kinda like, "Oh, I don't know," like, "Blah." But then the universe kinda, like, throws it back into your lap and is like, "Do not ignore this. This is what's happening." You know? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. It's
Yeah.
really true. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I love
From
that.
there, from that booking off of the audition,
I love that.
that happens to me too on Voice 123.
Yeah.
My first paid job was actually an audition that I didn't have to re-record or anything.
It's
That
the
was just one
best.
time. That was just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that doesn't happen to everybody. That just
Mm-mm,
doesn't
mm-mm.
happen. It's nice when it does.
It is
Um,
amazing when it does. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then it took like 9 months later for my next book.
Yeah.
It takes
Yeah.
time. People forget
I
about that.
know.
Money and time. Yeah.
And consistency.
Totally.
So many people were like, "Oh, I haven't booked in so long." It's like, well, how much have you been auditioning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah.
definitely. especially for
consistently.
you and I, Lloyd, because we have other jobs, full-time jobs, so we don't have the time to submit 100 audition, even 10 auditions a day. It's so hard.
Yeah, it's a
So
lot.
I'm I'm where I'm supposed to be. I keep telling myself that. I'm where
That's
I'm
good.
supposed to be, even though it's 4 years later.
Stop. You're exactly where you need to be.
Yes, I'll stop
Yes,
there.
exactly where you need to be.
You
Danny,
are.
so did you ever get back into on camera? Because I think when we spoke, we met, off the record for voiceover view stuff, which we can dive into. Um, and you had said that you had, you have to balance voiceover and on camera, and that you had booked on camera, and you have agents and all that kind of stuff. So you got into voiceover, and then did you fall back into the camera? Like, how was
Yeah,
that? I
kind
love
of.
it.
Yeah. So I started doing voiceover, and you know how the community is, right? Like
Yeah.
people are so generous and so kind. And so I met I met so many wonderful people, and really like my best friends are voice actors now, and we talk
Mm-hmm.
via Zoom, or we talk via Marco Polo, and we do all those things. And um probably probably in about 2015. Yeah, it had to have been 2015. Yeah. Um Somebody that I knew quite well, and she was a non-camera actor and a voice actor. She's really well known, and she does not like to be talked about, so I
That's
won't
okay. You don't have to mention
yeah.
names. Yeah.
So, we were having a conversation. She was like, "You need to do on camera."
Mm.
And I was like, "No way." Like, my face, I do not control my face. My face controls me. I don't like, the things that happen on my face are often, totally off book, and I don't want that captured. And she's like, "No, you really should do it." And so, we were getting ready to move back up here to Washington. And so we moved back up here to Washington in September of 2016. And one of my son's best friends, and I call him, my half son.
Aw.
I have a couple of half sons around. And he was a model. He is a model for up here in Seattle. His mother agency is here.
Oh,
And
okay.
he I just reached out and I said, "You know what? Would you be willing to just send a couple of my pictures to SMG and see if they would want to see me?" And he was like, "Sure." So, and like I've known this kid since he had a bowl cut, like he's a, and so he was like, "Sure, yeah, I'll do that." And so he sent him in, and he said, "Yeah, they want to see you." They
Wow.
didn't have me come to an open casting. They set up a go see. And so I went in, and they took some digitals, and they were like, "Yeah, we want you."
That's awesome.
So that's kind of how it started. And then, I mean, I'm older, right? Like, so this was in 2016. So I was like 55. Is that right? 50. I don't know however old I was in 2016. And so, there's just not a lot of fit older ladies.
Right. Yeah.
It's not, I don't think that I'm anything super special. I just happen to be
Yeah.
y- in my 60s now, and I'm fit, and I've yeah.
You're active and fit, and
Yeah.
you move your body and you take care of yourself. Not that other people don't, but sometimes
Yeah.
people slow down, and yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Things don't like go places where they're supposed to go anymore when you
Yeah.
get older. So
That's still true.
if you don't move your body, but go ahead.
Yeah, but yeah, so through them, I've booked some really cool things. Like, I booked a national consumer cellular commercial,
Oh, cool.
consumer cellular series, that campaign that was in 2020,
Yeah.
all over the place. That was pretty cool. And um, I've my husband and I, in a couple of years ago, we did a Holland America
Oh, cool.
cruise. So we were paid a lot of money to go
Mm.
on this Holland America cruise, and have them take pictures of us and do things on this cruise.
Now
It
Really
that sounds
expensive?
like a
They
great
hired both of
vacation,
you?
Yeah, they hired us as a couple. Yeah, they hired us as a
That's
couple.
that's the dream. That's the couple goals.
I
right?
know. Yeah, yeah. And so we did an Alaska cruise together, and probably the only thing about that wasn't great was that, during the day you had to be, you were always having to be someplace where they knew you were
Yeah.
because you had your shoot at whatever time in this place. And if things shifted, they had to be able to find you. So you could never like do an excursion or anything like that.
Yeah. It's
But
still,
still,
But still.
but
I, it's interesting that you said that. Like an audition came through recently. It was for like an Alaskan cruise line, and they said you must be adventurous. I'm like, okay, what kind of adventures are we going to be doing in Alaska? And I'm thinking, and I was just like, should I do it? Should I not do it? Should I do it? Should I not do it? I'm like, whatever, screw it. Just gonna submit myself, and we'll figure it out. Like,
yeah, good.
and they said it wasn't on a boat; it was like all on land. So I was like googling like adventurous things on land in Alaska. Like, I'm a planner. So I was like trying to figure it out, but I didn't get a self tape. But it's like if you don't keep submitting and if you don't ask, you don't
Wow.
get, and networking is like when you said that you asked your half son, and I think that's like amazing because sometimes that's all it takes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Reaching out to somebody else, and everybody, like you said, is the good ones are usually very generous and, reaching their hand back, like Gina has said before, another guest had said, and, helping other people along, because that's how you get places,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
together, not
yeah,
separately.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
So,
yeah.
so is your husband like actually on camera acting? Because that's hilarious. I've had my
No.
husband, yeah, I was gonna say, I've had my husband in self tapes. I just recently shared this and he is not good. He's like, this is not for me. I am not doing this I love you, but no. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. No, he and I have done some modeling stuff together. So before I was with SMG even, I was with another small agent here in Seattle who's a dear friend of mine. And so I was with her for a while. But I didn't think of myself as a model because she does like real people casting.
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's a
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
So yeah, so she did real people casting. And so so my husband and I, we would go on gigs together, and book that. Now he is on SMG's website, but he rarely auditions,
Yeah.
they rarely send him stuff because they know he's going to be like, eh.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If he wants a direct booking, that's it. He wants direct bookings and just make me, show up and it's like that's just not how it is really. So
Right. You didn't have to twist his arm too much with the Holland America because it was like Jane was saying, like it was a treat because that you were on vacation and you're getting paid.
no, he's a planner. He's a planner and a risk averse guy. So I did have to twist his arm to do it. I did. I was like, dude, you are auditioning for this. You are.
Did he
The
have fun? Did
He
he
did. He had a
enjoy
lot
it?
of fun. A
Nice.
lot of fun.
the real people casting is like a real thing, I mean,
Mhm.
even more so now. And they want real families. So I've tried to pull everybody in, I've my oldest, my middle, my youngest. My youngest will do it, but I don't know, he prefers voice acting over like on camera stuff. But they want like a whole family because it's like you're getting like more of an authentic energy, I think.
Yeah.
So now if I submit for a family, I'm like, it's half a family. It's just mother and son. Find me a husband and
That's
another kid.
real. That's real too.
That is real for sure. That's real. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love that.
So how did you like, okay, so I feel like we're getting close, but I don't want to like skip any steps or any stops, but like voiceover view, like hello, like so you've done, you got into voice acting, and the universe did not let you skip that part of your chapters and your path. And then acting. So voiceover view, like how did that come? Because I mean, I feel like your tech and your marketing maybe is what helped you. No?
No, no, So, and actually, voiceover view came in between voiceover and on camera stuff. So, voiceover view
Interesting.
came in the middle of that. So when I started out in 2014, I needed to know. So, I had 6 months of unemployment, and I needed to know whether or not I could actually make a living doing voiceover. I didn't expect that I could, that I could replace my marketing salary. So I was a six-figure marketing person because I was a marketing director. And so I knew I couldn't replace that income right away, but I needed to know if I could actually like expect to maybe get there.
Right.
And so my husband built me a spreadsheet that had just a little tiny bit of data that I had to enter in, and he's a finance guy. So
Okay.
I entered in this little bit of data. If you know Voiceover View, the things that you enter in on the job
Yeah.
page, exactly that.
Oh, fun.
All that
Okay.
was that all that I had to enter. And then it fleshed out this beautiful overview.
Mhm.
What do they call it? And I guess they call it a dashboard. So, in finance, it's a dashboard. So he created this beautiful dashboard because I needed to see it visually, you
Yeah,
know?
makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
And so that was the start of it. It was a spreadsheet, and I would share it with people. So I was building a lot of really sweet friendships, and I, just talking about the industry, right? Like, yeah,
Yeah.
well, my audition to booking ratio, it used to be, 100 to 1. Now it's 20 to 1, and I'm aiming for 10 to 1, like kind of
Yeah.
like, and they're like, "Well, how do you even know that?" Because that was back in the day too with voices.com, which is where I started, where they didn't even have statistics. Like there were no
Oh.
Mm.
statistics on voices.com. Now there are statistics, but back then there were none. And so I was like, "Well, no, I keep this little spreadsheet," so I would share it, and we locked down all the cells, all the calculations. We locked it all down so that it couldn't get screwed up. But invariably, people would say like, "Oh, I screwed it up. I don't know what I did. I broke it." So, in 2016, I was talking with Rachel Fulgenetti. If you know who she is, she's an LA talent, does a ton of audiobooks and a lot of commercial work as well. But she and I were talking, and she was like, "Well, tell me how you know this stuff." And I shared my spreadsheet with her, and she was like, "Oh my God, you have an app here,
Oh,
you have a business. So
right.
you need to build this." And I was
Yeah.
like, "What? Really?" She's like,
Tell me
"Yeah,
more.
you need to go build that."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So you built it.
So, yeah, so that's kinda how it happened, so, I'm friends Joe Davis is a dear friend of mine, and so I reached out to Joe and I said, "Hey, I'm thinking about doing this, I don't know how to do it. Do you
Right.
think you guys could do it?" And he was like, "Oh god, no, we can't do it, but uh, let's partner and let's go find developers." Well, first, actually, that's a little bit of a shortcut.
Yeah.
First, he said, "You go out and you vet this with at least 20 voice actors. I'll give you some, and then you have friends, go out and vet this, do like a market test." And so I did. I
Smart.
met with at least 20 different voice actors, people I knew, people I didn't know. And I just said, "Hey, what do you think?" And we talked about it. And I think only one person out of the 20 that I talked to, and some of these people had been in the business for 20 years, some of them were, really new like me, and everything in between. And only one person said, I think that, no, I don't need that.
There's always one in the
There's
bunch.
always one, but like, yeah, 19 out of 20 people were like, "Oh my god, yeah, you should
Right.
build that. I would use that." So we did then find developers. We built it in tech speak MVP, minimum viable product. So we launched with minimum viable product in June of 2017. We didn't even have a website. So
Mm.
this is the funny thing. So VoiceOver View is web based, and we built it so that it was mobile responsive. So we did all the stuff that we needed to do for the app. And
Right.
then, like, just before and actually it was in at VO Atlanta in 2017, I was like, "Oh my God, I can't even talk about this to anybody because we don't have a website."
Oh, no. Yeah.
So
Right.
Joe built this website. Joe built a quick website, and that was like how we launched, with this quick and dirty website. And
Quick and dirty.
that's term two, quick and dirty, with quick and dirty website. And we launched then in June of 2017. I talked about it in March of 2017 at VO Atlanta, and
Right.
then, yeah, we launched. And the people that did that initial interview with me, those all became beta testers, and they were beta testing between March and June. And then, yeah, so that's how it launched. Joe and I then separated. I bought him out. I bought his interest out in 2019, I think it was 2018.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible to like actually, just create something that's useful for yourself and then to have a friend come to you and say, "Oh, wait, this is actually
Yeah.
something that could be helpful for not just you, but for other people in our industry." And then to actually take the steps, which is not an easy part of your path at all to do
Yeah.
something, to create and develop something like that. And it's actually is very useful, very helpful,
Yeah. Yeah.
I shied away from CRMs. I know it's not a CRM, like
Yeah. Yeah.
up front. That's not what it's necessarily used for. It can
Yeah.
be. But I shied away from that kind of stuff and until Jane was like opened my eyes to like this whole wide world.
I was tired of my spreadsheets. I got to a point where it wasn't too bad, but it wasn't perfect either. And and I always like to look ahead. I'm like, okay, what if I start getting busy and then I can't manage this spreadsheet because my spreadsheet columns and everything just kept changing. The
Hmm.
titles and then I had three spreadsheets and I don't know why.
I loved you. I just love
So
Jane.
so yeah, and I was just like, okay, I've heard about Voiceover View. I don't want to do a CRM. I can't afford a CRM and I don't have that many clients for a CRM. So and I just did my research on Dani and Voiceover View, listened to podcasts, watched the YouTube videos, and I was like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Hmm.
And we found it through Nava, right? I mean, right? Through Nava?
I found the special through Nava, but
Yeah.
I had been
Oh.
looking at Voiceover View for at least a year.
Jane
Yeah.
is our resource. She provides and shares lots of different things that she comes across. I'm like, where do you find this stuff? And she's like, I don't know. I just do. But I mean, it's actually like a really helpful tool. I mean, I literally, and I know don't tisk me, but I have like, I have all my sticky notes every single day because I don't log it in real time. Every single day
Right.
I have a sticky note with a date and I keep track. And it's great because I use it for now voiceover and on camera. It's
Hmm.
excellent. And so, yeah, I might not be doing 20 auditions for voiceover, but I now have a running tally of how many auditions I've submitted for on camera and how many auditions I've submitted for voice acting. And I can go in there in real time and keep track of, my bookings and where my money's coming from and where my money's going.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple little things I'm still trying to figure out. But it's really a useful tool, something that I didn't even know I needed until
Yeah.
Jane told me I needed it.
I'm
And
like,
then
oh
I tried
yeah,
it.
just check
Yeah.
it out. Do the trial.
I know. You're like, what are you
Yeah.
doing? Why, what are you, it's sometimes it just takes a friend to say, hey, try this, or you should do this, or, your husband to like encourage you to try something. And then you do it and
Thank
you're
you
like, what?
to your friend Danny who told you to do it.
Yes.
Oh, I know, I know. Yeah, that's it's
Keep
I
the
am
faith also.
I always talk about her when I talk about the VOV origin story just because like
Mhm.
I owe everything to Rachel to for
Yeah.
having
This could
said
be an
that.
app. Yeah.
Mhm.
This could be an
You
app.
know,
I
like,
mean,
oh,
it's amazing. I mean, obviously it's always expanding and growing and it's economically friendly, because everything costs money for voiceover, and it's useful, it's helpful, it's economical in terms of finances, and there's a lot of things that you can do with it, which is cool and interesting. And I started off small. I just started keeping track of like bookings, and Jane's like, you don't have to do it all. Just start doing one thing in there and then start expanding. And that's what I did. So
yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And yeah. So
Yeah.
I
thank
started
you, Rachel.
I
yeah.
know. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Jane. And Jane, actually, it's so funny because I recognize your name and I recognize your face, but I was like, oh yeah, that's right.
I
That's right.
attended a one AMA. I
Hmm.
think
Yes.
once. I was like,
Yes.
oh, I have time. So
Everybody knows Jane and everybody loves Jane.
say
Go
that.
ahead, Lloyd.
Everybody knows Danny.
So so I want to say that I don't know, like 2 minutes ago, Jane was like, "Oh, just check it out, do the trial," and I was like, "Okay." So I went to the website and I signed up over this past 2 minute period. Very quick
Good for
sign up,
you.
love that. And I love because I am very broke right now. I love that there is a no surprises promise
Yeah.
on the front page, and a promise to remind me a week before so I don't get charged again.
Yes.
That takes
Yeah.
the anxiety away from signing up for something,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's very transparent. I appreciate
Yeah.
that
I
too.
love that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's another reason why I kept researching voiceover view. Like when you hear something is created for voiceovers by a voiceover, that that just solidifies that you know what we're going through. Like
Mhm.
whoever's building these things for us, if they've gone through it, there's a reason why they built it is to make our lives easier. So,
Yeah.
and I
So
definitely see that in the product. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I love
absolutely.
that. I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Yeah. And, the thing, we started out at $9.99 a month and 96 bucks a year. And we started out that way in 2017. And here it is, it's 2024. Like, I
Yeah.
think this might be the only product on the entire planet that hasn't been, that hasn't raised its rates, or inflation hasn't hit.
Oh, yeah, for
yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we won't, because like you say, like everything costs money.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
Everything costs money. And it's just like, I do I envision making money off of voiceover view someday? Yes. Do I make money off of it now? No.
Right.
But it's all about, for me, like providing service that allows other voice actors to do the things that I do with my business, keep track of it and understand it and set goals and work towards those goals and be able to see whether or not you're meeting them or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So,
easy, it's simple, it's helpful. And like I said, from a financial standpoint, it's exactly what we all need because everything costs money. That's true. And like what Lloyd was saying, it's very transparent.
yeah.
It's like, oh, well, that's easy. Like I can sign up for something if I know that I'm not going to get stuck with something and then it's going
Yeah.
to surprise, like there's no surprises. So I love that. Yeah, I
Definitely.
love that very
Lots,
much.
lots and lots of value to not just the tool itself, but you also being accessible to answer any questions
Yes.
anytime. The, the free AMAs, all of the tutorials that I found on YouTube that I
Yeah.
didn't know that were there, so I
Yeah.
don't even need to, reach out
Yeah.
to you because it's right there.
It's available. It's accessible and available. Yeah. That's so true, Jane. That's true. Yeah. And that the fact that you are a voice actor and you like and an on-camera actor. I love that because I mean, everything is laid out right there for you, whether you're on camera or voice acting and or a combination of both.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's not like there's things that like each individual person could probably add to it, and like you said, you're like, just let me know, just tell me what you need.
Yeah.
Like come and talk to me and like we'll figure it out, because your journey is different than Jane's and mine and
Yeah.
and yeah, so I love it. And I still am like amazed about the fact that, you took an idea that was a tool for you and your business and through a friend and then created it and developed it. Like, because that's just not an easy thing to do. And not very many people would do it because they would probably be like, this is hard. Like this is hard. I don't want to do it.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
there's so many spreadsheets out there that people share too that works
Mhm.
for a lot of people.
Yeah,
I just think this is so much easier. Do
totally.
you have you had any updates to the website like in the last recently year
Yeah.
Yeah.
or
Yeah. One of the biggest updates is so small, and it's just got launched. It got launched in April.
okay,
And
I'm on my account right now.
yeah. So if you look at the audition to booking ratio widget,
Yeah,
there's now a bottom line that says your 12-month audition to booking ratio is X.
I just noticed
And
that.
yeah,
Oh,
and
that's
that's
helpful.
brand new. So it used to be that you could see your audition to booking ratio month by month as you just moused over the bar chart. You could
Mhm.
see what it is, but it's not a one-to-one ratio. And the reason it's not a one-to-one ratio is because you might audition for a job in March and book it in April.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so if you're auditioning in March and you're booking it in April, it's gonna count for your audition to booking ratio in April. We can't like do this, right?
Yeah.
So, now having that 12 months, that gives you what your actual audition to booking ratio is. And if you do the drop down looking at your different job sources, it'll show by job source as well.
Oh my
So
gosh, I want to like log into my account so bad right now. I'm like, you guys,
Yeah,
stop
that's
it.
huge.
so that's really, so for me, actually, the thing that's crazy is that I've had a hard time doing auditions because I know my audition to booking ratio is really low. And so it's just been like, oh gosh, I need to figure out something else. But once that bottom line audition to booking ratio number was there, and mine's 3%.
Okay.
So
Mine
my
is 2.
overall, yeah. So okay, so yeah, so my overall audition to booking ratio is 3%. That counts on camera and voiceover.
Mhm.
Um, once I saw that, it all of a sudden something happened and it flipped a switch for me that gave me permission to audition as I felt like it
Mm.
versus auditioning as my job. And
Mm.
I'm suddenly doing more auditions.
Mhm.
Hmm.
I like that.
It
Was
makes no
motivating.
I like
sense.
that a lot. No, it does. It makes actually like it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I yeah, I don't I thank you because I don't think it makes any sense. As I think about it, like the months before, so last month in April I ended up doing 60 auditions. This month I'll end up doing more than that most likely. And I because I don't do a lot of auditions these days. But in January, February, March, I did probably, I did less than 40
Hmm.
every month. And I think I might, for a couple of those months, I might have done like 20 or 25.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, because I was just like, you know what? I'm so downhearted about auditioning that I just can't bring myself to do it.
There's something in the air right now. Like
Oh,
literally, like you're like the
yeah.
like umpteenth person that has said something about, and it's specifically April and May. Like recently, there's been numerous people that have said to me, like, it's just been weird, And I thought it was just me, but knowing it's not just me makes me feel a little bit better. I mean, I
Uh,
don't want it for anybody, but I'm glad that I'm not alone. It's rough. I wonder, I like in my mind, I'm like, there's a lot going on in the world today, and we don't have to even dive or unpack any of that. So I wonder, if that's like weighing on just everything.
yeah.
And there's people out there that are unaffected and doing just fine, but I hear a lot of people that are saying exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
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 So yeah, it's interesting because that's motivating because it's like when you have numbers in front of you and you understand where things are going and where things are coming from and how they lay out in graphs and numbers and charts,
Yeah.
you visually can see, which is good for you, Lloyd, visually can see like what's happening. Otherwise, it's just like everyone says, you're like throwing spaghetti at the wall, right? So I highly recommend Voiceover View, and I know we're like, I don't want to take up too much more time, too much of everybody's time. I have
Let me tell you one more thing though.
Yes,
So
please.
this,
Okay.
this, this is for Jane,
Uh-huh.
and actually for all of you. We are also introducing this month, hopefully, we're introducing pie charts for
Ooh.
the job source mix and growth and the job type mix and growth, your top 10 customers,
Ooh.
and for the income statement. So you'll be able to see. So right now, when you look at job type mix and growth or job source mix and growth, you're looking at numbers.
Mm.
You'll be able to see a pie chart that actually lays out, like what percentage of what slice of your pie is commercial, what slice of your pie is,
Ooh.
yeah. So it'll show that, and then for top 10 customers, it'll show what your top what how much of your income is coming from whatever slice of clients are in that top 10 that you're
Yeah.
booked with right now, and then just all the others. And that's such a useful metric because, and I'll tell on myself here in that metric. So for the last 4 years, my top 10 clients have generated between 65 and 85 or 70 and 90% of my income.
Mm.
Okay.
And I make good income. But they were coming, and it was coming only from actually 3 or 4 clients.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then everything else, like that little tiny slice of, 20% was coming from everybody else.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
To one of my clients, I used to book a ton with Pandora, just a ton. And I barely book with them now. Like they've just moved, the dial has shifted and I just don't book with them now.
Hmm.
And so like that huge slice went away. Huge
Wow.
slice went away. And so this year, great. I've been doing marketing and I'm really finding a way to love it. But what I'm seeing right now is that 55% of my income is coming from my top clients. And all the rest is coming from new clients and, just sort of one-off clients.
Yeah.
So
That's
that's
interesting. Yeah.
such an important number to keep an eye on. Like some
Right.
people hear, oh, wow, 80% of your income is coming from like 4 clients. That's so cool. And it's
Yeah,
like,
but not
yeah,
if you
no.
lose
Not when they're
one.
gone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
not
when
when
they're
one
gone.
leaves. Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
marketing's like a spoonful of sugar. That's what I'm thinking. I'm singing the spoonful of sugar song in my head because I'm like, oh, marketing, I hate it.
Mm.
Ugh, blah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
That's very, but you're right. That's very useful in terms of like knowing, like you said, where things are like your slices of pie. Like, what are you looking at?
yep, yep,
Yeah, that's very interesting.
yeah,
Okay, you have one more question?
No, I was just saying that I'm a visual person,
yeah,
so to
Helpful.
anticipate the pie charts is going to be like pretty cool.
yeah, yeah. It's coming. It's coming. It should be this month. They're working on it right now.
Very
That's
cool.
So,
cool.
Congratulations.
yeah, yeah.
So,
I'm super excited.
so we're like, we have like 5 more minutes, and I don't want, like I said, I want to be very respectful of everyone's time. So I appreciate all of you guys for spending your Saturday with me, or all of us spending it together.
Yeah.
I have a fun question we're gonna do, and it's a round table kind of thing. So you can pick one, two, or three. Lloyd got to hear the questions out of time. Sorry, Jane. Sorry, Danny. You guys, it's a
It's okay.
surprise. A little
I
bit
only
improv.
remember one.
That's fine. It's
That's
fine.
You're busy. So you can choose one, two, or three. Danny can, because she's our guest.
I'll choose 2.
Okay. It's the middle. Okay. Oh, I like this one. Okay. What place is the best representation of your personality? Anywhere in the world, if you had to choose one place in the whole wide world, do you think that would be the best representation of your personality? Now, it's going to be a round table, and you don't have to dive in too deep.
Mhm.
If you want me to, I can go first because I know what I was going to say because I cheated. I read the question
Go for
ahead.
it. Go for it.
I would say Hawaii because it's laid back, but it's also it's got volcanoes and it can get hot and it can erupt. So I'm always airy and edgy, and that's just kind of like my go-to. And I really want to go to Hawaii really bad. So when I booked that $30,000 super awesome voiceover gig, I'm going to Hawaii. So there you go.
There you go.
Who wants to go next?
I'll go
Danny.
next.
Okay. Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, cause I screwed up the last one.
No, you didn't. There's no screwing up here. It's
But
chaos.
this one's pretty easy and it's pretty simple. Like it's
Yes.
nowhere crazy, but I really love San Diego.
Oh yeah.
I feel like they have the best weather there year round.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like that's just when somebody says retire, I'm like, I want to retire to San Diego. I mean, Hawaii sounds nice.
Everybody loves San Diego and everybody loves you.
Mm.
So that's like perfect. You're like, stop it. Jane, or I'm sorry, Lloyd or Danny, whoever wants to go.
I'll go.
Okay.
Yeah. So the place, this will just sound stupid, but I don't care. The place on the planet that best represents my personality is Alki Beach. And I live on Alki Beach here in Seattle. It is a place that can be like really crazy. Like it is a crazy, crazy, upbeat, super fun place. Like today it's 80 degrees. It's our first 80-degree day. And I know for sure it's crazy out there. And it can also be the most serene and empty place.
Yeah.
And um
Home.
yeah, it's home. It's beautiful. I was out there last night watching the Northern Lights.
Okay,
That's
that
right.
sounds like me too.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, you guys can both be there.
Yeah, come visit.
The
My
Northern Lights was amazing. Sorry,
It
go
my
was
ahead, Jane.
my
incredible.
son's girlfriend, partner is out there in Washington
Ah,
too. like Belfair area.
Oh yeah, Belfair. Yeah. Yeah.
Belfair. Yeah. So she sent us pictures of the northern lights that she could see from there. So that's
So cool. Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
Can't see them in Florida. I didn't see them at least. So
Or
it was
Yeah.
too far north.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the pictures on Facebook and Instagram are amazing though. Lloyd,
I was the funny thing is I was like out of the box because I was like my brain, of course, duh. Yeah, I was like it's a place.
It is a
your
I
place.
didn't say it
brain.
had to be a physical place.
Oh
Okay.
gosh.
Um, it's crazy because I don't think I ever would have said this in the past, but I would say Vegas here where I live.
Oh,
I think just growing up here, being born and raised here and being surrounded by people who are like, oh, I got to get out of Vegas, and I was one of those people. A lot of people don't understand that Nevada as a whole, but Vegas specifically can be whatever you want it to be. You know,
yeah,
if
I love that.
we have so many like national parks within driving distance. I love the mountains. The sunsets and sunrises are amazing. The entertainment capital of the world. There's tons of food. Like you can just drive and find somewhere new. Lots of people from different ethnicities and cultures. Like
Yeah,
it's just a great place to be.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's perfect for your brain because it's like it's always going, right? Vegas is
Yeah.
always on.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
I don't stay on the strip though. Nobody from Vegas likes
Yeah.
strip.
Yeah. Right. Like living in Reno, like it's not. You don't have to be on. It's not all. It's not all gambling, right? It's not
Yeah.
all gaming. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
all sorts of amazing stuff outside of that gaming core.
Yeah,
Right. And
that's
fun
true.
fact, as far as zoning purposes goes, Strip is not Las Vegas. It's paradise. But
Oh.
people don't want to
Oh,
have that conversation. I actually made one of my friends mad when I said that one time. They came to visit and I was like, yeah, the Strip isn't even Vegas. And he's like, what the fuck did you just say?
it's Vegas to him. It's Vegas for the rest of us.
It's
That's
Vegas
right.
to the world.
It is Vegas to the world. Lloyd, do you want to ask the final question
Yes. And
for Danny? Just to Danny.
yep.
You got this.
Yeah. Hey, Danny, what is the one thing in life you've done that you're the most proud of?
That's easy. Having my
It's
son.
yep.
Yeah.
It
Second,
Yeah.
always is.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I mean, it's
Love
hard
that.
not to say something like that when you're a parent, but I would say
Yeah.
that, yeah, it happens, right? I mean,
Yeah. 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 And when they turn out to be like extraordinary adults,
yeah.
it's like just the icing on the cake. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Your son is 31,
He's 32. Yeah.
32.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a weird thing too to be like, wow, okay, I created that and then I helped raise and guide this human being and then they're out there in the world and you're like, they're just amazing, I say creatures, but like they're just out
Yeah.
there doing their thing and it's like, okay, and I'm happy that they are their own people, but you should also be really, really proud about the voiceover view. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah. It's my
That's your
baby.
baby too, right?
It is my
Baby
baby too.
now.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for coming on and like hanging out with us tonight and
Yeah.
appreciate it. Yeah. It was a
It was
lot of fun.
really fun. It was really fun. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. So do you want to do the thing? How do we can you share how people can find you or
Oh
find
yeah.
Voiceover
Sure.
Review? Jane was maybe going to say that, but
Yeah. Go. Do you want to? So you want to say Jane?
no,
I
no,
was just
no,
gonna
I
say
meant,
Okay. Oh. 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 I see. Oh.
it
I
was
was
good
like,
to
oh,
see
Jane's
you
gonna do it.
again.
Yay.
It was good to see you.
Yeah, so you can go to voiceoverview.com and voiceoverview is one word. So voiceoverview.com. You can email me at info@voiceoverview.com. If you go to the website, you can see where you can subscribe. Up in the right-hand corner, it says start. I don't know, subscribe or start your trial. I think it says
yeah.
start a 30-day trial. And that website is not quick and dirty. Let me tell you,
Yeah.
that website was a labor of love. But yeah, so that's where you can start your trial. And it's $9.99 a month or $96 a year. Start out with a monthly trial. Don't dive in whole hog. Start out with a monthly trial. And
Yeah.
if you like it, then you can move to annual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on
Thank
the
you.
annual.
Yeah, me too. Quick and dirty. I love that. It's not quick and dirty, but you got to start off quick and dirty sometimes, somewhere, somehow to like make it work, you know? So, I mean, it's going to be messy, but
Yeah,
eventually you get to like where you need to be, you know? It can't always be perfect. So,
that's right. That's
but
right.
thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks so much. It was so lovely to get to know